Chris Cuomo has been fired from CNN.
Should have seen that coming.
This is Not My Party. Brought to you by the Bulwark. What happens when journalists blur the line between objective reporting and political strategery?
Strategery.
A morality play in two parts. We begin with the fall of the House of Cuomo. Last year, these bros were riding high after cable's hottest buddy comedy hour received rave reviews from thirsty Cuomo-sexuals.
I feel like I'm a Cuomo-sexual too.
It must be very confusing for you.
At Not My Party, we were always pretty skeptical that it was a good idea for two brothers to be joshing about their ample navel cavities.
This was the actual swab that was being used to fit up that double-barrel shotgun that you have mounted on the front of your pretty face.
Especially while a deadly pandemic was laying waste to the state that one of them was governing. Those were some bad optics, but the behind-the-scenes reality turned out to be worse than we realized. While yucking it up with Chris, Andrew made a critical error by forcing nursing homes to take in contagious residents. And it was later revealed his office fudged the numbers to try to cover up the up.
Nothing to see here, folks.
A few months later, a number of women came forward to testify that Andrew's Italian handsiness had crossed the line into harassment that was wildly inappropriate at minimum. And as a result, he resigned.
You are so fired.
There's no coming back from that.
This week, documents from Attorney General Tish James shed new light on Andrew's Me Too scandal. They showed that Chris, who remember was ostensibly a newsman covering the story, was simultaneously running PR cleanup for his big bro.
The primetime host used his media connections to help prepare his brother as accusers came forward.
He even tried to covertly track down information about one of his accusers. So now he's out on his ass too.
You're fired too.
I understand wanting to provide a little brotherly advice, but this was clearly over the line. Though I guess the bigger question I have is, where exactly is the line again? And why do only certain people have to stay inside of it?
What's up with that?
Which brings us to part 2, the tender women and the vicious snakes. When it comes to journalists being in bed with the people they cover, well, remember this?
By the way, all those people in the back are fake news.
There was another cable news host who literally campaigned for Trump. Hannity was such an influential advisor to Trump that at the time it was said he basically had a desk at the White House. And he wasn't the only Fox News host giving Trump free under-the-table advice. The guy basically had all the anchors on speed dial. And then when it comes to running cover for political allies embroiled in Me Too scandals, Fox journalists had no problem doing that when it came to Grabby Roger Ailes or Donald Locker Room Talk Trump.
When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the
Anyone outside Fox is the enemy.
As for cringy cable TV family affairs, well, Cuomo's weren't alone on that score either.
Speaking for myself, faith, freedom, and the fight of our lives inside the Trump White House. She also happens to be my daughter.
With all due respect, you actually don't know much about me.
Actually, there are a lot of stuff I didn't know about till I read this book, to be honest with you.
cringeworthy.
100%.
It seems to me like we have an imbalance here, where mainstream outlets and Democratic politicians are expected to have standards and resign when they don't live up to them, while Fox and the Trumpers get to pussy grab with impunity because their crowd doesn't give a shit.
I don't care what Mr. Trump does in his personal life.
And nobody expects any different.
Boys will be boys, right?
So while I'm shedding no tears for Chris or Andrew, who certainly committed a bootable offense, it doesn't seem like the journalistic rules the two sides are playing by are very fair or balanced.
We'll be back with more fair and balanced coverage.
See y'all next week for more Not My Party. For more weekly episodes of Not My Party, hit that subscribe button.